What's going on, everyone? Justin here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is my Lotus Evora standing behind me. And you probably have a dilemma. You have an older Evora like mine, and you want to update the front by putting on an Evora 400 front bumper. And the front bumper comes with their daytime running lights that came stock on the 400 and the GTs. It's actually not too intimidating. In this video, I'm just going to briefly go over how to update the front end with the Evora 400 bumper, which I've managed to do on my car. And then the DRLs, how you could wire it up using a couple of the bits from Lotus that you could still order directly from them, namely the module and the lights themselves. So stand by, I'll be jumping right in. All right, here is my Evora 400 bumper. So this is fit to my 2011 Lotus Evora S. And you can see outside of the missing lip piece that I still need to get ordered, it's complete, right? So this front lip, it's very expensive for the carbon one that comes on the GTs, and I guess the 400s you could also offer it as well as an option. I ordered an aftermarket one from GRP, so Greg's Race Products. I'm still waiting on delivery of that, but it'll hopefully look awesome when it's done. But outside of that little missing piece, only things I had to order are the grills, and then the 400 grills. They come with these DRLs, or you could get a block-off plate, I believe. I did the grills. The grill, as far as matching up to the stock oil cooler, it's not perfect, but I'll definitely get some flow in there, so I'm not overly concerned about it. The bumper going to the front here, I had to trim the stock inlet. This is the radiator inlet. I had to trim it just a little bit in the corners, both corners, to fit the bumper. And this side, I did have an oil cooler here from the factory on the 2011, but it was destroyed in the accident. So what I did is I cut a piece of cardboard to fit behind this grill, and then I traced it out on a piece of ABS, cut the ABS, fit it to here. So this is effectively blocked off. So this is blocked off. That side goes through to the oil cooler, and then again I just had to trim this, and then there, for each one of these grills, there's just 4 screws holding it in place. That's it. Outside of that, it's a plug and play ordeal. So the bumper goes on just like the stock S1, and I think it looks a lot better. So that's pretty cool. With the DRLs, you could get these separate from Lotus. There's a kit that they offer, and I found it cheaper to just order the individual components. So that's what I did. I do not know if the DRL kit came with the wiring harness, because ordering them separately did not. This is what the module looks like. I forget the name of the brand of what this is. You don't have to order from Lotus. You could get it directly from the company. It's something with an N. I'll put it in the description of the video. But basically, this is the DRL module, and then you have the DRL bulbs themselves. I built my own harness here. So if anybody's crazy like me, you could do the same. But basically, I depinned and repinned the factory connectors off the DRLs. And basically I have my own 2-pin connectors that I'll be using. And then I wired it up so that it'll be in series, which is how this is designed. So I'll have the circuit diagram pop up here. The lights are ran in series. It's fed off of the ICM. There's a 3-amp fuse that comes off of it to feed power to the DRL module. That's how it gets its input. Then it's got a ground, and that's pretty much it. And so looking at the module, this is the power is going to be the 2nd pin. So this is a 3-pin connector. So on this side you have effectively headlight, ignition, and ground. It even says right in here. The illumination pin, which is this one all the way on the left. If that gets a positive 12 volts, it will drop the PWM, so the output, to the DRLs. And then I guess if you use the headlights, if you put the headlights on, it'll drop the brightness of the DRLs. If you just leave it without that connected, the DRLs will always be in the same brightness. And that's the mode that I think it runs in from the factory. At least that's what I can tell from the diagram. And that's how I'm going to be wiring it up. So For this to work, you only need ground and then a 12-volt source when you want the DRLs on. I'm going to wire this up so that when the turn signals are on, so basically when the side markers are on, I'm going to have this turned on. And I'll do that by tapping into the headlight harness. I already have a bunch of stuff that's in this side of the car, so I'll just add it in here. There's space for the module. It's not going to take up too much room, so I'll just plumb it right in there. That'll handle the input. The output, the LEDs for the DRLs are polarity sensitive. So you just want to make sure that you have the right polarity. So you can see I put a little zip tie on here, marking this as red since I used black wire. And that goes to the left side. So this is going to be plus PWM out, and then that side is negative PWM out. When I hit it with my voltmeter, it was showing as 44 volts. But it's a regulating, it's PWM, it's pulse width modulated output. The DRLs even say on it, do not hook these directly up to 12 volt. That will destroy them. They're a PWM input only light. So basically you need this DRL module. You can't just wire them directly to your turn signals or daytime running lights or side markers or whatever. You have to do it to this module. So anyway, that's it. Gonna take the wheel off, gonna tap into the wiring, and then I'll show you what that looks like when I'm ready. All right, I just want to quickly explain what I'm doing here. DRL module, I have a 3-pin connector. I got these off of Amazon, pretty cheap. It's a bunch of 1-pin, 2-pin, 3-pin, etc. connectors. And it's kind of a DIY solution where you assemble your own connection. So this is a weatherproof connector type. You can see it plugs in to the stock plug for the DRL. So that'll look nice when it's done. And so I have some silicone wire that I also picked up. It's going to get a little sock, like so. This will be stuck on there. Whatever, you get the point. That'll be on there. I'm going to strip it back. I'll have the little terminal here. That'll be crimped using the crimper tool for these type of connections. You could use little needle nose pliers though. I've done that plenty of times in the past. But then I'm also going to solder it. I solder it just so that the connection will never fail, so it doesn't wiggle loose. So it'll be weatherproof. It'll be pinned in the right spot here, and then it'll plug in, and it'll look almost like it's factory. So I'm going to go ahead and build that under a time lapse, and then when it's done, I'm going to get this thing mounted to the frame and hopefully connected. All right, so here we are on the left side wheel well. Hesitant to say driver's side because of you UK folk, but basically in here you have the wiring for the side markers, right? So the side markers, there's a red and black wire here. It's tapped off of the harness that plugs into the headlight on this side. This is a 3 amp or 5 amp power source. I think it's 5 amp. 5 amp fused. The DRLs from the factory are only spec'd for 3 amp. So I'm pretty confident that I could share this without any issues. So my plan is, now that I have this connector, I'm just going to tap it into here and test it. So this will feed the power into the DRL module. I'll mount the DRL module someplace up in here where it's serviceable, and then the wire out is just going to go right to the DRLs. And we'll see how it works. So tap into this now. Okay, and just like that, it's soft wired right now. I'll solder this in later. You can see I just kind of spliced it in, and then once this is soldered and wrapped with electrical tape, you're not even really going to be able to tell. So the module is plugged in. I have the output going to the DRLs, and this just needs to be mounted someplace accessible, someplace up in there. So without further ado, let's get this aimed at the front of the car and try out the DRLs. Just by turning my side markers on, And there you go. Looks pretty good to me. A little bit bright, but I think they look great. So I'm going to keep it just like that. And I left the other pin here empty, but if I wanted to, I could just easily have the headlight output. So basically the wire that feeds the ballast, I could have it go into here as an input, and then that would lower the brightness of the DRLs. But I'm going to leave it like this. I could always change it later. So I'll call this project done. So there you go. Evora 400 bumper, Evora 400 DRLs installed, functioning on my 2011 Evora S1. So if you like this video, subscribe and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.